Hi, this is Tracy Stuckrath with Thrive Meetings and Events, and this is my Ask Tracy video series where I take questions from meeting planners, HR professionals, chefs, eaters, anyone who's interested about food and beverage, dietary restrictions, sustainability, and how it affects the employee and guest experience. Today's question comes from a meeting planner who wanted to know, do we increase our liability by asking a variety of questions about dietary restrictions? Does it make us more liable if something goes wrong? Well, because I'm not a lawyer, I reached out to my friend Tyra Hilliard Warner, who is a lawyer and she's a certified meeting professional. She is my go-to person on asking legal questions around this. And I've heard her say this multiple times, is that the more we know about our attendees, the better off we are in reducing our risks and the steps that we're taking to put safeguards in place. And what that means is we ask about the dietary needs in advance. We communicate those needs to our chefs and food service providers who are giving the food to them. And we need to ask the questions of them, what are your practices to ensure food safety for these individuals with dietary restrictions and life-threatening food allergies? So we need to put those things into place. We also need to put some contract clauses into our contracts that explain who's liable in case of an emergency or a case of a life-threatening food allergy. So making sure that you're doing that from the get-go in your contracts, and then also ensuring that you've got steps in place from the time that you get the information from the attendee, what you're communicating to those attendees about how it will be executed. How do they get their special plates if they need a special plate? How are we managing the dietary needs within the menus themselves? And then who's responsible for executing it and providing that meal to that person in the end? She said doing our due diligence up front will reduce the liability on the back end if something does happen, but you have to be really diligent about what you're doing up front. I hope that answers your question about the liability in managing food and beverage. Individuals with food allergies and religious-based practices and celiac disease know that when they go out to an event, that they're not going to a venue that is certified allergen-free or that it's certified gluten-free, but they do expect that the meals that are provided for them do accommodate their needs, and the proper steps in food safety were taken to ensure their safety so that they don't get sick. There are things that are flying around the kitchen, but those individuals who provide food and beverage have gone through training and should know the steps on providing safe meals for those attendees. So we need to ask those questions and make sure that we're communicating the process backwards and forwards from the chef to the attendee to the meeting planner and everyone in between. This is Tracy Stuckrath with Thrive Meetings and Events, and this is my Ask Tracy video series. If you have a question for me related to food and beverage, sustainability, food allergies, etc., reach out to me at asktracy@thrivemeetings.com. Thanks.